What could I possibly be up to right now?
This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourts homestead.
We are in the kitchen because raining season is rolling in and we are going to be canning fajitas. This is obviously going to be a two-part recipe because there's two parts to this recipe. That makes sense, right? First, we make the spice blend. We are going to make a fajita spice seasoning blend that you can use on anything fajita. You know those little packets of fajita seasoning that you buy? Why are you buying them? Why are we buying them? We're going to make them. This recipe is going to go up into the link of my bio. So if you go into my bio and you click the links, you'll be able to see the whole entire thing as we go through it. I'm going to gather all of these spices. This is all we need. Cayenne pepper, sea salt, ground paprika, garlic powder, black pepper, ground mustard, pepper flakes, chili flakes, ground chili powder, and cumin, ground cumin. Let's get mixed. Since I don't know how much it's going to make, I'm just going to go big. Easy pour. Don't forget the brown sugar. 6 tablespoons chili, 3 tablespoons cumin, 1 to 3 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, depending on the kind of heat you like. I think that says it all. This is why nobody eats at our house from this state. Okay, we got it mixed. So now, what's next? Let's put it in a jar so we can see what the recipe calls for next. It wants us to measure each spice and place it into a bowl, whisk the spices together, work to blend them well, store in a spice jar or empty 8-ounce jelly jar free from direct. This is making way more than 8 ounces, sweetheart, way more. Direct sunlight and moisture, and by all means add or omit any additional spices to ensure you get the flavor you truly desire. Remember, I always make every recipe the first time. So we're going to add this into a jar and set it aside. Fajita seasoning spice mix. So remember that chicken I bought for $1.99 a pound? The breasts, the boneless, skinless chicken breasts, yeah, we're going to use those in the next part. So stick with me for part 2. Welcome to part 2 of canning a meal in a jar of chicken fajitas. So let's get going. This is going to be a cold stack method. We're going to be stacking ingredients in a jar. If you've never done that before, it's kind of fun and interesting. Cold canner, cold jars, cold products. Let's get going. It says it's going to do 5 jars. I'm going to see if I can stretch the recipe to make it do 7 because 7 fits in my canner. First, we need black beans and pinto beans. I got my black beans and pinto beans all rinsed and combined, and it's asking for 1 cup in each jar. I had to go to the garden and harvest some bell peppers and tomatoes, so let me chop these up. We're going to be putting half a cup of bell pepper and half a cup of onions in each jar. Now we add tomatoes. Now we start chopping up that chicken breast that we got on sale. Let's go. Time to add 1 tablespoon to each jar of that spice mix we made in the last video. Just for the record, we still have some left over. Yay! Now we fill all the crevices of the jar, leaving 1-inch headspace with our own homemade chicken broth. Don't forget to debubble and add more water until you reach the proper headspace. See that goopy stuff? That's the sign of a really good broth. I use the feet when I make my broth, don't you? When you do the filling process, take your time because little air pockets just appear and liquid disappears. Wipe the rims with white vinegar to cut the grease, cap and seal, and stick it in the pressure can. They're getting ready to go in the canner, and this is what they look like. Okay, they are all in the pressure canner, and now I get to clean up. They process for 90 minutes, and it's going to take a while because I'm starting from cold, cold, and cold. So I'll show you when they get out. Just a couple hours of my time, and I now have 7 dinners, chicken fajita dinners, sitting behind me. I definitely will be opening them up soon because I am dying to try it and see what it's like. Yeah, I will get back to you in the next video and we'll talk about the pricing and how much it actually cost. A lot of the vegetables I got from my garden. I'm really excited. Now you know what I know. I'm canning another batch of that chicken fajita, and something. We heard this loud noise while I was processing this morning. I'm still getting ready. And here, he's like, "You're going to film that, right?"
I told her, you need to film it. And you have to give him context. You can't just film it and not tell him what happened.
So
It was loud.
you know, it was a very loud noise, and I was over here and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what was that?" And he goes, "You have a jar broken." And I'm like, "I don't know. I've never heard that noise before." So now he's like, "You got to film that." And I'm like, "No. I would have told you guys, but no." But so let's be real. You're going to watch me take them out one by one. There we go. Slow and easy, and we'll see. I think one jar may be broken because it had a stress fracture because I dropped it from 4 feet. Ooh, ping, my favorite sound. I dropped it today. So I actually intentionally used it. It didn't have any cracks, nothing like that. And I think this is it. Yeah, so far, we're good so far. We still have 3 more. And the final. Yay!
Huh. I don't know what that noise was then.
Me neither. So that was definitely a mystery noise, and I was right. No. Anyways, we thought you guys would enjoy the banter that we have. We're always like, "Oh, I think that," and he's like, "No."
I think they'd enjoy the suspense.
The suspense. It's like I'm writing a mystery book. Ow, that's hot.
Yeah.
Bubble wrap me today.
I will.
We'll talk to you guys later. It's time that we talk about the cost and clean the jars of the chicken fajitas that I canned up. Let's go. So if you don't know, I made 2 batches because I still had some chicken left over. So I just kept going until they were done. So let's bring it on over and let's talk about it. Because you so know I priced everything. Remove the rings and check for sealage. Oh, I have one that did not seal. This guy gets a ring back on and he goes straight into the refrigerator, and guess what we're having for dinner tonight? Even better, I'll be able to tell you what we think of it, like immediately. Keep moving on. Okay, so here's what we got. I got 14 complete dinners. It's for dinners for 2. Pop them open, add some homemade flour tortillas or just some corn tortillas that you get from the store, whatever you want, your personal preference. The entire 14 jars cost me $24.78 to make. That means that for 14 dinners, complete dinners for 2, it's $1.77 a meal plus add in the tortillas, which I think I figured out the corn tortillas from Costco were 3 cents a piece. So there you go. For under $2, you're feeding 2 people, and I haven't tried it yet, but I hear people are loving it, so I'm going to give it a try. We'll try it tonight, and we'll get back to you and let you know. But there you go. $2? $2? And you know what? Worst case scenario, if a fire comes or some kind of storm comes and I have to evacuate the area, because, you know, we know people that have had to do that recently, all I have to do is grab a case of food. And I'm feeding my family. It's probably one of the big reasons why I do this. Talk to you guys later. Now you know what I know. It doesn't look really pretty. But, you know, canned meat usually doesn't. This is probably why most of the food at the grocery store is in tin cans and you can't see through it, right? Like if you could see through your soups and stews. Yeah, that's a story in itself. The biggest savings on this was the fact that I picked the tomatoes, the peppers, and the chicken broth was all free because I've been canning and saving and growing that stuff. So there you go. Don't forget to label them. Don't want to do that. Yeah. But that is really pretty. And what's back here? My next canning project. That meat we got for $1.97 a pound. It's going to become Chipotle chili. That is a great question. I did not use canned beans. I think you were meaning in place of fresh. I think you meant dried. I used dried beans and I didn't soak them overnight because the recipe that I have linked in my links in my bio actually calls for dried beans straight out of the just rinsed, because it compensates for the difference of the dried beans with the water that you're adding into it. So when you open them up, they will be just like having dried beans. There's also some recipes out there where you are just literally putting a specific amount of cup of dried product, beans, legumes, into a jar, and then you fill it with water, and then you can it. And during the canning process, it reconstitutes the beans. So yes, that is, and that's how I can my beans. I don't pre-soak or anything anymore because it's just not needed. But that is exactly how I did it. I used dried beans, rinsed them off, and just put them straight in the jar. It's life-changing. And great question. Remember those chicken fajitas that we canned up, right? And we were all like, ooh, I wonder what they taste like, because we were dry stacking them up. Let's see what it tastes like. We're gonna pop the top, we're gonna heat them up, and we're gonna have dinner in 15 minutes. That's the way I roll today. That's recently been the way I'm rolling all the time. Got my spoon. Good seal. Smells amazing. Looks disgusting. Disgusting. Let's go for it. Gotta climb in the cupboard. And there you go. That's the chicken. We're gonna take the chicken. Remember, we stacked it all. So the chicken is on the top. We have beans on the bottom, and we put the beans in dry. I'm just gonna mix it all together. Oh, and there's some of the We're committed now. We're gonna stick it on the burner, heat it up, and simmer it a little bit for about 10 minutes, 8 minutes or so, and then we're gonna put it in corn tortillas. Anybody else secretly love to get the house smelling really good before their man walks through the door, or is it just me? It cannot be just me. So while that simmers right there, it's looking really good. We are going to cut up cilantro, grate some cheese, and cut up some fresh onions just for crunch. This cilantro is 2.5 weeks old. Like, seriously. I just keep grabbing and reaching in and pulling out what we need. Time to set the table. My sour cream expired about 1.5 weeks ago, but it still smells good. So I did the sniff test to who people. I did the sniff test. This is what it looks like. Not like, we'll have to see what it tastes like. It's good. We'll be back after dinner and he will tell you what he thinks of it. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very, very good. I liked it. I'm going to say it was really good in the tacos that we had. It would be great in burritos. I would even mix it up in some migas. And there's a crying cat around here somewhere. But anyhow.
I thought it would be really great as burrito filling. Like a filling in a big burrito with a whole bunch of, same stuff as tacos. Yeah.
Judges, we're gonna need a school.
Yeah. And it was easy and simple.
9.8. We could dance to it. We'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. There you go.